It was a nice warm day in Los Angeles, and up in the mountains, the Cooper family thought it would be a good idea to take a break from modern life and go camping. Well, the parents thought it would be a good idea, but the kids just whined, not wanting to go, and they wouldn't stop complaining the whole ride there.
I'm tired.
I'm hungry.
I have to go potty.
Look, kids, we're gonna have a great time. Just give it a chance. We're gonna do so many fun things to do,
Kate said. But while she was going on and on about the activities, the trio just got more bored hearing it. When they finally pulled up to the spot, Yakko, Wakko and Dot jumped out of the car and tried to make a break for it. That was until Kate stopped them by grabbing them by their scruffs.
And just where do y'all think you're going?
Dot and Yakko said, while trying to think of an excuse. Wakko was running in place, trying to break free, knowing that he did have a good one.
Potty! Mama! Potty!
Oh, Sugar Pie, I'm so sorry, baby, I forgot.
Kate said, putting him down. While Wakko ran into the woods, she turned to the other two and told them that their job was to get some firewood, and that she and their dad would be setting up the tent. Once again, they complained while walking into the woods. As the kids got far enough, Yakko got his backpack and pulled out a camera and a map, because without their parents knowing, they secretly did want to go on this trip because of the legend of the Los Angeles witch who lived in those mountains, hunting for children's souls to eat, and they wanted to get her on tape and become famous. Well, actually, Yakko wanted to get famous because he was sick of people asking him to do the nation's song. As they got everything set up, they went over the plan.
Okay, here's how we'll do this. I'll film. Wakko, you're in charge of the map, and Dot, you're the bait.
Me? Why am I the bait?
Because you're the cute one. Now shut up. All right. They say she lives in an abandoned house somewhere in these woods. If we find that house, we'll find her. Any questions? What if we change our minds? Aw, come on, Wakko. You can't give up now. Just think. We'll be the people to find out if the legends are true. Isn't that exciting? But what if she eats our souls, and we never see Mom and Dad again? Ah, don't worry. I'm prepared for anything. I won't let anything happen to my siblings.
Meanwhile, Kate and Bobby were still setting up camp. Bobby struggled on trying to put up the tent. His wife just sat on a rock and rolled her eyes at how he refused to look at the directions. As she looked at her watch, she saw that it was getting late and the kids still hadn't shown up, which made her start to worry. Yakko, Wakko and Dot were looking for the witch, but they still had no luck finding the house. So Yakko thought that maybe they should try to set up the bait. His little sister was dressed up as a pilgrim, and he and his brother hid behind a tree, ready to catch whatever they could on tape.
Oh, woe is me! My mother and father left me in these woods to die, for we have not food for 3. If only there be a kind woman to take me as he own.
After she finished her line, there was nothing but silence. So Dot thought maybe if she said it again, a little louder, something would happen.
If only there be a kind woman to take me as he own.
Still nothing happened, which left her starting to get angry, so she gave it one more shot.
If only there be a kind woman. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Yakko, I've had it.
What? No! Dot, come on. Just say it one more time.
No! This is stupid. All I'm doing is screaming at trees.
Look, you just need to be patient. That's all. Give it a few more tries. I'm sure she'll show up.
No! This costume's itchy. I'm getting bitten by every bug in this forest. I want to go back.
Yeah, me too.
At first, Yakko was going to start a fight about not wanting to give up so soon. But since they did wake up early without breakfast, he understood that this was too much. So he agreed that they should head back, but there was only one problem. They were lost.
Mom!
Dad!
Wakko and Dot cried, hoping to hear a reply, but there was nothing, which left them scared that they'd just made a big mistake, while their older brother just looked around, trying to get an idea on how they could get out of there.
Look, Sibs, I have an idea. All we have to do is retrace our steps. Since we walked forward, all we gotta do is walk back the way we came. It shouldn't be that hard.
Yakko explained. So they walked for half an hour, only to realize they were going in circles. As it got later into night, the trio started to freak out and beat each other's throats. This so-called happy family trip was turning into a nightmare. But it was only the beginning. As night fell, Kate and Bobby had no choice but to turn to the rangers for help. They were so scared that something must have happened to the kids for them not to return. Meanwhile, Yakko thought it would be best to set up a tent that he got from his gag bag for his siblings to rest in, because it was cold and it had started raining. This wasn't supposed to happen, he just wanted a fresh start, but instead he flew too close to the sun. When morning came, Yakko noticed there was something wrong. His little brother was gone. He wasn't sure how long Wakko had been gone for, but he had to find him quickly. But just as he got out of his tent, he found something. It was a small blue cloth tied up with a string. It almost looked like the same material from Wakko's shirt. When Yakko opened it, he screamed. It was from Wakko's shirt, and inside was a tooth and ink. He felt sick to his stomach, wishing that this wasn't happening, wishing that he could just wake up from all of this. Yakko and Dot kept walking. He didn't tell her about what he found or what he thought happened to their brother. Instead, he tried to keep her spirits up by saying Wakko was still alive and he just went off and found the campground and that they would meet up later. He hated having to lie to her, but it was important that Dot wouldn't freak out right now, even though that ship sailed when they passed by the same tree with moss that looked like George Clooney 3 times. When Dot saw that tree for the 3rd time, she started to laugh more and more, which left her brother scared and trying to snap her out of it.
Dot, listen. I'm sure we're near the campground. All we have to do is follow the map and...
He stopped as he went through his backpack, but he couldn't find the map, which left Yakko to start panicking.
Dot, what did you do with the map?
I threw it in the river.
His body was frozen in shock. With her laughing so hard, he was unsure if he heard that right, so he asked her again.
I said I threw the map in the river! Because we are lost! We are doomed! We're gonna die out here, and for what? A monster that is not real? I hope you're happy, Yakko. Thanks a lot.
Dot yelled, then she ran off. Yakko chased after her. His heart might have broken after what she said, but he still wasn't going to give up and lose the only sibling he might have left. As Yakko ran through the woods, he lost track of Dot. He tried calling out to her, but there was no reply until he heard her scream. When Yakko followed the sound to where it came from, he luckily found that his sister was just standing there and looking up. But before he could apologize, he looked up too, and what he found made his jaw drop. Yakko and Dot just stood there, not believing what they were looking at. They found what looked like creepy ornaments hanging from the trees in all different sizes, made out of branches and hay to look like stick figures. Yakko knew what these were, and he knew that they were getting close to her house. As they followed the path of the stick figures, they finally found the witch's home, which looked like an old, run-down Victorian house. Yakko, who started to walk into the house, hoped that maybe he could find Wakko safe and sound. But Dot pulled him back, not wanting him to take any chances, but he had to. As the two looked around the house, Yakko pulled out his camera to get all of this on tape, because he knew that if he lived through this, no one was going to believe him unless he had proof. The house was pretty empty, and the only thing that made it look alive was the colourful handprints of children that were all over the walls. Then suddenly he heard something. It was a voice that was faded, but sounded like someone was calling them.
Wakko, stop! Oh my gosh! It's Wakko! He's in the basement! Dot, come on!
Yakko! Wait!
But he didn't have time to wait. Yakko had to get to his little brother and get everyone out of here. When he got to the basement, he had his mallet in one hand and his camera in the other. He was ready for anything. When he got downstairs, he saw Wakko standing in the corner and crying. But before he made his move to grab him, someone hit him in the back of the head and knocked him out. Not long after, Dot went down into the basement to check on her brothers, with her mallet in her hand. When she found them, one was still crying in the corner and the other was passed out. But before she could react, she felt as if someone was behind her. Without taking any chances, she took her weapon and slammed whoever it was, grabbed her brothers and got the heck out of there. When they got to the river, Dot took a handful of cold water and dropped it on Yakko's face to get him to wake up, and luckily it worked. But before they could celebrate, a few rangers found them and helped them get back to their parents. At the campground, Kate and Bobby were scared to death, thinking something terrible had happened to their children. But when a ranger car pulled up with them inside, they became so happy.
Mom! Dad!
Kids!
When they ran to each other, they just hugged and never wanted to let go.
Guys, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault.
What? What are you talking about?
We secretly did want to go on this trip, mainly to find the LA witch. But one thing led to another. We got lost and almost got killed. And it was mostly my fault.
Yakko, why would you ever do a crazy thing like that? I thought you knew better than that.
Well, I did it because I wanted to be famous for something else besides that stupid country song. That's all I hear from people.
After he made that confession, Wakko and Dot couldn't believe what they just heard.
Are you kidding me? Wakko almost got eaten because you were angry over a song?
Eaten? Oh, I wasn't gonna get eaten. What happened was when I woke up this morning, I was trying to find something for breakfast. That's when the witch suddenly appeared. Before I got to do anything, she grabbed me and flew me to her house. It turned out that she was letting me stay at her house while waiting for the ranger to get me. Oh yeah? Then what was with the tooth? And you hiding in the corner crying? Well, I wanted to know what it was like to lose a baby tooth like human kids do. So I asked the witch if she could do a spell for that. She did, and it was not as fun as I had hoped. So I gave the tooth to Yakko for safekeeping.
After Wakko explained this, Yakko got embarrassed because he threw that tooth in somewhere in the woods thinking it was some kind of curse.
And I was standing in the corner because she gave me some finger paints to play with. But I got out of hand with it and she put me in a timeout.
It now made sense, leaving the three to feel worse about themselves. It turned out that the witch was Hazel from the Bugs Bunny cartoons, wanting to have a relaxing vacation. But it was hard to do that when people kept breaking into your home and spreading rumours around saying that you eat children. After everything was settled, the couple thought that maybe it'd be best if they just went home, since the trip was nothing but a waste of time. But the kids begged them not to. They knew that their parents wanted to try and do something nice for them, but they took it for granted. So Kate and Bobby agreed to stay one more night. Later that night, it was time for bed, and the whole family were in their tent trying to sleep. But there was one problem.
Honey, can you move over some?
Well, I would, but it wasn't my idea to set the tent on the side of a hill.
Mom, there are no bears here, right?
Oh, of course not, baby girl. At least not the bears y'all thinking of. Right, Bobby?
Oh, yeah, sure.
He said, giving a wink.
Did you just wink? Are there bears here? Please tell me there was something in your eye. Please tell me there was something in your eye. Are there bears here? Come on, baby, just tell me.
Mom?
What, sugar pie?
I had to go potty again.
I hate camping.